Ready?
Yep.
3, 2, 1. We're going live.
Hey guys, thank you so much for joining us today. We are so excited to see all of your smiling faces. We have a real special treat here at the Wincorn Foundation, KGW Law Firm. We get to hear a little bit from attorney Ruth Harper on family bonds. So without further ado, Ruth, come on down.
Evening, everyone. It can be pretty scary and confusing when you or a family member are taken by immigration officers. Today, we're going to talk about what it means when someone who is not born in the U.S. is held by immigration officers, and what possible ways there might be for getting them out. Each person's story is different, and we are not intending to give you specific legal advice. But we hope to help you understand the system so that if this happens to you, a family member, or someone you know what is happening and what the next steps might be. When the government wants to put you or a family member in immigration court to try and make you leave the country, in many cases they will put you in a detention center, which is basically federal jail for immigration. There are many reasons why someone might be detained. It could be because they have crimes in their history, they've just arrived in the country, if they have previously been told to leave the country, or if they've been told to go to immigration court. Once the government is holding someone, there may be a way to get them out. This way is called bond. Bond is the amount of money paid to government officials to make sure that the person shows up for all their court hearings. It is important that you talk with a lawyer once someone you know has been detained. The lawyer will be best able to tell you all the possible solutions for this person and if getting a bond is best for them. Bond can be set in two different ways. Sometimes it's set by government officials. Immigration and Customs Enforcement is the government agency. And they're the ones who are holding the person, and they may set bond. In that case, they'll tell you the amount they want you to pay. If they do not offer bond, or if the amount they offer is higher than you would like, you can also send a second request to an immigration judge in court. Some people must remain with the government until their case in court is over. If the person detained has any criminal cases in their past, you should talk with a lawyer to figure out if these crimes mean that they have to stay in detention. If someone has just arrived in the country and were taken by the government when they came in, they also are required to remain with the government through their whole case. In these cases, it is best to focus on finding ways for them to stay in the country. If the judge says they can stay, then they will be released. But if there's no reason why they're required to remain with the government, then you can ask the judge for bond, which will allow them to continue their immigration case, but from home. There are three things that the judge is going to look at. Specifically, they want to know if they're going to be dangerous in their community if they're released. They're going to want to know if they're going to run away and miss their court hearings. And they're going to want to know if there is a possibility of them being able to stay when their case is finished. To show the person is not dangerous, the judge is going to want to look at any crimes in their past. And if there are some, you will want to show the judge that the person is changed. To show that the person is likely to go to all their court hearings and not run away, the judge is going to want to look to any connections they have in the community. This includes family members who live here, people they know, any job they have, if they're part of any group like a volunteer group or a church or any other religious group, if they own property or rent property, if they've paid their taxes, or anything else that shows that they've lived here, they have lives here, they have connections. A lawyer can help you put together all this evidence and can present the case in the strongest possible way to a judge. People are usually more successful in getting bond when they talk to a lawyer. A lawyer can also help you decide if bond is even a possibility or if you should focus on winning their case. One important thing to remember is that it can take some time to present the strongest case possible to the judge. You and your lawyer will want to put together as much evidence as you can and the strongest case possible. It may mean that the person has to stay in detention a little bit longer, and that can be difficult for them and for their families. But there's only one chance to ask the judge for bond, so you want to present as much to the judge as you can. Once the judge sets a specific bond amount, there are two ways for the bond to be paid. First one is for you to pay the whole amount yourself, either yourself, a family member, or somebody you know. The two things to know about paying yourself is that it has to be made with a cashier's check, which you can get from your bank. And the payment can only be made by someone who has some legal means of being in the United States, which you will have to show to the government officials when you make the payment, either by your passport, your visa, your driver's license, your green card, anything that shows that you have status here. And the money is paid to a local government office that is in charge of receiving the bonds. There is one of those offices located here in Dallas, and there's also one located in Alvarado, Texas, which is nearest detention center, Prairieland. Sometimes the bond amount is set too high, though, or there's not someone who can make that payment. In that case, you want to go to a bail bonds company. The way they work is they have you pay them a certain amount, usually between 10 and 20%, and then they make the whole payment to the government. One difference with using a bail bonds company is that if you make the payment, if you pay the whole bond, you can get it back at the end. If you work through a bail bonds company, you do not get your 10 to 20% back. They keep it, and if the person does not show up for their hearings, they will send somebody to look for that person. It is important to work with a bail bonds company that is trustworthy and is not going to take advantage of you. You can ask your lawyer or research and find out for yourself. Our offices here at KGW Law Firm specialize in immigration cases and specifically in immigration court and bond. And we are always available for your immigration needs and to answer any questions you may have. You can always call us or schedule an appointment. I hope this has answered your questions. Thank you.
Good.